Good evening, baseball fans. How you doing? Good evening, good evening, good evening. How are we doing? We got almost 200 people in the chat. I think we're all still recovering from this past weekend. Certain player, I don't know if you know, maybe not. Maybe you do. Shohei Ohtani. He is an LA Dodger. $700 million. Not a big deal if you ask me. My goodness, we're going to talk about the fallout from that. What does this mean for other teams out there? Like his old team, the Angels. How about the Blue Jays? Blue Jays fans had felt used in the last week or so. How about the Cubs? How about the Giants? What are they going to do next? What is their next move? What does this mean for some other free agents on the market? JD Martinez, Jorge Soler, a couple of the other DHs out there. What does this mean for Yamamoto? We'll talk about his market. We had a couple of signings today. Andrew Chafin, Will Smith, and could Roki Sasaki actually be on his way to the major leagues? How you doing, everyone? Good evening, good evening, good evening. Man, oh man, over 200 people to start things off. And, hey, good to see you're all still hanging around here even after the Ohtani Sweepstakes are over. That makes me happy inside. That makes me think, okay, we actually like this guy with the potato face. He's not too bad. It's not just all about Ohtani. You like coming here for the news, and that's what I like to see. How you doing, everyone? Good evening. Hey. Just got back from a day at Epcot today. And I had never been to Epcot today. And I think I got around 12,000 steps today. I'm a little tired. I had a turkey leg today. A lot of sodium in that thing. My goodness. I felt just the salt just pouring out of my pores. What is going on? Did my video just... My video just went out there for a second, but we're back. We're here. Okay, so anyway, that was what I was doing today. I am back home and ready to talk some baseball. Hope you all had a great weekend besides the whole Ohtani thing out there. Hope you actually watched and enjoyed some football today. Maybe got out there, maybe did something besides paying attention to the Ohtani Sweepstakes for once. So here we go. Let's get to it here, everyone. A lot of familiar faces in the chat, seeing the moderators here, seeing some members as well. A lot of familiar faces. Thank you for stopping by. Let's get to it here, everyone. Let's get to it. If you can, everyone, tonight, the light goal is 200 for tonight. If you can help us get there, I will love you even more than I already do. If you can, hit that bell notification. That way you know I go live every single time. Even with Ohtani off the board, we have multiple moves to go. Man, oh man, could you imagine that Yamamoto to the Red Sox news breaking, you know you're going to want to come here. So make sure that bell is turned on. Share the show if you can. Share any of the content on the channel. Just share the channel if you can. And if you are new, think about subscribing down below. We've been getting a lot of new subscribers lately, so I just want to say thank you to all the new subscribers and welcome to the channel if you are just finding us for the first time. And everyone, speaking of content on the channel, just want you to be aware, if you have not seen it already, I have posted a new video this past weekend, the best free agent signing for each team ever. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out right now. No, Shohei Ohtani will not be the Dodgers' choice, so just get that out of your head right now. But definitely go check that out if you can. So let's get to it here, everyone. We got a lot to talk about here tonight, and let's see if this is the last time we ever talk about this here, at least this offseason. Who knows? Maybe 10 years from now, maybe we talk about it again if Ohtani goes somewhere else. But let's talk about the fallout here of the Ohtani Sweepstakes. Man, oh man, it was quite the dramatic week this past week. I mean, just even the past couple of days. Even the past couple of days here, it just felt ridiculous. Go back to Friday, right? Everyone was wondering what the heck's going on here. This dude's on a flight. Everyone was tracking the flights. Jim over at Ballcap, he tracked the flight for like 8 hours or whatever the heck it was. And then all of a sudden, it was not Shohei Ohtani on the plane. It was just the guy from Shark Tank hopping off the plane, and dudes with cameras are there like, what the, who the heck is this guy? This guy stinks. We don't want this guy. Just hilarious. One of the funniest moments on this channel. And I did not go live for that because something was telling me I didn't go live for the entire day, right? I looked and I saw some people were live and people were tracking the whole thing. And I couldn't do it. First off, I just didn't feel like sitting there for, 6, 7, 8 hours. I just didn't want to do that. But a part of me was saying, just wait until something more concrete comes out. I even posted that on the channel. I even posted that on the community tab, right? I said, hey, everyone, I'm going to wait until something a little more concrete comes out. And then we started hearing a few more things, right? We saw the JP Horstra article from Dodgers Nation saying that, yeah, this dude's a Blue Jay, right? We saw even Morosi following up. So at that point, I basically just said, all right, you know what? Fine. I'll go live, right? I'll join in on the fun. Why not? Let's have a little party. And ended up being the most hilarious moment, I think, of all time. There was one moment where I fell out of my chair. I know there may be a couple of people from that stream. I don't know when that was, but I got like this massive super chat and I just literally fell out of my chair. Like my entire chair tipped sideways. That was a pretty funny moment. But this one was hilarious. And but not for Blue Jays fans. That felt, I had to feel like just a punch in the gut. And then, but you still thought like, okay, well, all right, he's not a Dodger yet, right? He could still be a Blue Jay, right? It could be, we're just going to hear about this tomorrow. And then in the most quiet way possible, and really in hindsight, when you look back on it, looking at who Shohei Ohtani is, it was no surprise to me that he broke the news on his own Instagram, right? That to me just felt right. And I honestly kind of wish more players would do that. I feel like, instead of, yeah, sure, I like the passing bombs and everything, but I do like when these players just come out and be like, and say, hey, I'm just saying, I'm signing with this team, right? So I kind of like it that way. It threw me off completely. I was sitting there, I was finishing up a video, and all of a sudden the passing thing came up saying he announced it on his Instagram. I'm like, oh my God, what is even happening? I was like, Instagram, I wasn't even checking my Instagram I don't ever check my Instagram anymore. Anyway, but here we are. We all know the news. He's a Dodger, $700 million. Coming out of this, a lot of people were speculating, were the Blue Jays really taken for a ride here, right? Were the Blue Jays used as leverage throughout this whole thing? honestly, really, when you think about it, listen, this happens all the time, right? Players have a certain team in mind, right? Maybe some of them don't, right? Maybe some players, there definitely has been some times where they're like, all right, whoever the highest bidder is, that's where we go. But there are some players out there where they have in mind like where they want to go. So to me, it seemed like in hindsight, when you're thinking about all of this, going to Dunedin to go look at the spring training facility, all the updates that they've made, state-of-the-art complex there. It seemed like, all right, the Dodgers, they're not really pushing the money that we're looking for. We want to try and get more out of this. Let's go take a flight to Dunedin. Let's go talk with these guys. Let's see if maybe the Dodgers bump it up a little bit. Who knows? Maybe I will be a Blue Jay, right? But let's play some hardball with the Dodgers here. And there was word that the Dodgers on Friday night, they were kind of taken by surprise by all of this news. So people were thinking, okay, did Ohtani's camp, did they leak this about the Blue Jays? Did they say like, hey, we're probably going to sign with the Blue Jays, all right? And, because we all saw all the reports that he was flying to Toronto, Dodgers Nation saying he was a Blue Jay, right? Which is also weird because it's Dodgers Nation. So, they're because you're thinking, right? Why would, they would, it would seem logical that they would break the news that he was signing with the Dodgers, right? Because it's Dodgers Nation. But no, they were waving the white flag. So everyone's thinking like, wow, Dodgers Nation is saying this, like, it's got to be true, right? But again, I wanted to wait for the more concrete news. So, and then in the end, here we are, $700 million with the Dodgers. So I honestly, and according to the reports, the Dodgers, they were very much taken back by all of these reports that were coming out. And from what I read, there was some panic out there with the Dodgers, and they just said, all right, $700 million, take it or leave it. And there it was. And it's like, who turns down $700 million? You don't turn down $700 million. That's ridiculous. So here we are. But yeah, Blue Jays fans, I can definitely understand how you feel there. But let's just be real here for a second. Now, maybe this doesn't happen to this level, but this kind of stuff has definitely happened before, right? Where a player wants to go to a certain team, and unfortunately, other teams tend to be used as leverage. And who knows, maybe they end up going to those teams, right? That, they're trying to use this team as leverage. The other team, they don't come back with a counter proposal, and then they just end up going to that team, right? This has definitely happened in the past. I don't have any specific examples. I'm not an agent by any means. I don't know. But it definitely is, in my opinion, something that has likely happened in the past. He wanted to be a Dodger this whole time. They were always the favorites. Go back, what was it? When he first came over, people were thinking he was going to go to the Dodgers, right? He shocked the world going to the Angels, right? And then, but people since then, like, oh yeah, he's going to be a Dodger. People said Yankees, maybe the Mets, when Steve Cohen came over, like, oh, they're going to throw the bag at Ohtani. But through thick and thin, the Dodgers always remain the favorites, right? And so here we are. But as for the Dodgers, right? So let's talk about the money. You're thinking, man, this is a lot of money, right? Jeff Passan, he made a tweet yesterday after everything broke saying Shohei Ohtani's contract has significant deferrals that include most of his salary, an idea a source said that was Ohtani's, right? So you can also understand Ohtani, where I could see him finding that middle ground. Like, yeah, listen, I am that player. I am that guy. I am a $700 million guy, but I also want to win, and I also know $70 million towards the a $70 million AAV towards the payroll. That's not really going to help all that much, right? So you can see Ohtani right there finding that middle ground where he knows his worth, but he also wants to help the team. So he's saying, all right, even with inflation and all that, right, the dollar today is not going to be, or the dollar tomorrow is not going to be what it's worth today. But hey, whatever. I want this team to still keep adding pieces. I still want to get paid what I'm worth, but I want the Dodgers to keep doing their thing, go out there, put more talent onto this team, right? So again, getting back to the tweet, in deferring the money, it reduces the cost of the competitive balance tax hit and will allow the Dodgers to build a better team around him. So if you go to Fangraphs, right, we still haven't found out all the details when it comes to this. It still is being listed right now, just the AAV, $70 million per year. So I'm very curious to see how this ends up working out. So according to Passan, he did a bit of a write-up on this. I can actually go pull that up here. He basically said it's going to come out most likely to around 40-50 million per year, so around 20 million of it, roughly, maybe a little less, maybe a little bit more, could end up being deferred. So he did this entire thing here, right? Kind of just getting into it all. I could sit here and just read this entire thing, but basically you can go read it yourself. But it boils down, when you kind of work out the numbers, when you're throwing in certain rates and whatnot, you're looking at Ohtani probably going to be around 40-50 per year, which a lot of people were speculating, right? That seems pretty fair, when you think of the numbers that we've been hearing for Ohtani over a long time. And even if you go to baseball trade values, their contract estimator that they now have on their website, it's new. If you get the subscription for the year, link is in the description down below. You get 10% off for an entire year. Go get yourself a Christmas gift. We are just over 2 weeks away until Christmas. But their contract estimator said 10 years, around $530 million, right? According to his, on the field performance and whatnot, right? Everything that kind of goes into it. So really, when you think about it, based off of his performance, and if he is going to be end up getting around 40-50 million per year after the deferred money, that's pretty fair. But at the end of the day, it is Shohei Ohtani here. You're looking at all the marketing, you're looking at all the ticket sales, you're looking at everything, right? Going over to Japan, think about all the marketing, jersey sales, t-shirt sales, Dodger merchandise being sold over there. It's going to be chaotic, right? With how much they're going to sell with this guy. Who knows what other opportunities come up? The Dodgers, they're going to be plastered everywhere, right? Ohtani is going to be everywhere now, especially in Japan. You're going to see Ohtani's face everywhere. You're going to see it on milk cartons. You're going to see it on spoons. You're going to see it on collectible cups at 7-Eleven over in LA. You're going to see it everywhere, right? You're going to see Ohtani on shorts, socks, everything. You're going to have Ohtani, I don't know. What else could you think of with Ohtani? Ohtani toolkits, right? A little screwdriver with Ohtani's face on it. You're going to see Shohei Ohtani everywhere. So that's what's also coming into play here, and that's what his agent knew going into this thing. It's not just about what he does on the field. It's also what he's going to be bringing off the field as well. So Zach G, I see you in the chat. Ohtani underwear. I mean, my goodness, why not? I mean, come on. I guarantee someone out there is going to have some boxer shorts with Ohtani faces all over it. It's just going to happen. So anyway, that's pretty much what's going to be happening here with the Dodgers payroll. So what this does for the payroll, it's really going to help them a lot, right? They are still getting into that luxury tax territory here, because don't forget, you got Mookie Betts, you got Freddie Freeman, you got some smaller contracts here as well. But those are the meat and the potatoes of the payroll right now. But then, eventually, you're also thinking about the future as well. Walker Buehler, if the Dodgers decide, hey, okay, this guy's elbow is looking pretty good, let's get him signed up here. He's got one more year of control. Let's see if they get him signed up to an extension. Dustin May, maybe he proves that he's good to go when he comes back eventually. Someone like a Brusdar Graterol, could they maybe get him signed to some kind of an extension? Maybe even Gavin Lux finally proves that he's the superstar player that people have been thinking about him for a long time now. Maybe you get some kind of an extension with him. So you're not just, looking out for the free agents that you could be signing this offseason, but you're looking for next offseason, the next offseason, 26, 27, 28, but you're also looking at the future of the team as well that are in the system currently. So Ohtani, yes, this is a massive signing, but you got to think here, this is going to be the way they're going to structure the contract. And how many times did I say that on this channel? I said the one thing I'm very interested in is how do they structure this, right? And I said many times, incentives, maybe opt-outs, options, right? No options from what it looks like. And I did at one point say, money, possibly deferred at the end, maybe money backloaded at the end, right? And look at how much they're doing here, right? So this is one thing I've been speculating about him for a long time. Tom Amiano, $4.99 for the super chat. Thank you, Tom. If Craig can get us Yamamoto for Christmas, I will buy socks with his face on them for every day of the week. My goodness, give me a pair of some Yamamoto fuzzy slippers. I'll do that as well. My goodness, give me some Yamamoto sunglasses. I'll do it all. Give me all the Yamamoto merchandise. I'll be all over it. But this is definitely... I mean, listen, this is a great move for the Dodgers. I mean, what else is there to say? There's really not much else to say here. They just added another superstar player to this team, and when you put Mookie Betts and Ohtani and Freeman together, that is just hellacious, if you ask me. It's going to come down to what do they do here when it comes to adjusting, or not adjusting, to setting this lineup, right? I do think at the end of the day, you do need to see more production from guys like Will Smith. I'd like to see maybe a bit of a better batting average from Max Muncy, but the guy's still bringing in a lot of runs, hitting a lot of homers. James Outman, can he take that next step forward? Can he maybe even add a little bit to what he did to a successful rookie season? Can Jason Hayward keep it going? Can Chris Taylor maybe get those numbers back to what he was doing a few years ago? All right, so I do want to see the Dodgers lineup still doing some stuff here, but they still have work to do, in my opinion, with the pitching. What do they do here with the pitching moving forward? So now, one thing also to consider, this was some news here today. This came out from Ken Rosenthal. The Dodgers are working on a trade with the Yankees to create spots on the 40-man roster for Shohei Ohtani and Joe Kelly. So we're not talking prospects here. We're talking guys on the 40-man. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be guys on the major league team, right? But this is going to be very interesting. I would imagine it's going to be... Now, yes, I said, no, it's not just minor leaguers here. Yeah, it could be minor leaguers, but not like just low-level, single A minor league guys. You're talking about guys that could end up, joining the team at any point. So this is significant in my opinion. Keep your eyes out for this. Could there possibly maybe be some major league guys that end up heading to the Yankees? Maybe, I would imagine you're not going to get like anything crazy. Could it maybe be... I don't know. I would imagine it's probably going to be someone in like AAA, something like that. But who knows? Maybe you could end up seeing, something when you're thinking of the Yankees, right? Again, it's kind of hard to really speculate who it could be. The only thing we have to go off of is if it's two 40-man guys. But if it were major leaguers, I mean, I would imagine with the Yankees, it's probably not going to be like an infielder. That seems pretty set. The Yankees, when it comes to the offense, seem pretty set at this point. We'll have to see, but could you possibly add maybe something for the bullpen? Could it maybe be like one of these like younger pitchers possibly? I don't know. My guess, it's probably going to be someone that's in AAA right now. I don't expect anyone like that's on the major league roster really to be going. Who knows? Maybe we see some kind of a surprising deal. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know. But keep an eye out for the Ken Rosenthal report. This is from 2:20 this afternoon. Dodgers working on a trade with the Yankees to create spots on the 40-man roster for Ohtani and Joe Kelly. Let's be real here. Joe Kelly Fight Club, that's what matters here. You got to make room for Joe Kelly Fight Club any day of the week. Now, moving on here. What could the Dodgers do when it comes to addressing the pitching? So that was just one thing I just said here that I still think the Dodgers need to address, right? You are essentially... I guess you could look at Walker Buehler as a free agent addition, right? If you want to look at it that way, right? He missed all of 2023. He's going to be coming back this year, final year of arbitration. So you got to think Walker Buehler, he's pretty motivated, right? That's one thing, right? He's coming back from injury. I could see Walker Buehler getting back to his old self, having himself a really good year, locked in, right? Yeah, sure. He got the Tommy John surgery, but I imagine Walker Buehler, with that time off, right, I could see a really good year out of Walker Buehler. Maybe it takes, a little time to kind of get into the swing of things, but I think at least second half Walker Buehler, if everything goes swimmingly, I think Walker Buehler ends up having a pretty good year for them. So that's going to be a nice addition for the rotation. Who knows what happens with Clayton Kershaw? I'm not even thinking about Clayton Kershaw at this point. But honestly, when you really think about it, that could end up being the best thing for Clayton Kershaw, right? Kind of take some time off, maybe come back around, possibly the All-Star break, maybe around trade deadline time. That could be a nice time for Kershaw to come back, right? This guy's always dinged up. Let's get the guy a little time off, right? So, but Bobby Miller, a very successful first year in the majors. Could he maybe have some bumps in the second year? Teams adjusting to him, but this guy's got really good stuff. I think Bobby Miller, he's going to be very good. And then you're kind of looking at the rest here. Yeah, sure. I think Ryan Pepio is a guy that's definitely going to get his chances in there. Ryan Yarbrough is going to be more of like a swingman kind of a guy. Sheehan looked pretty good at times, especially when he first came up to the Dodgers last year, but then he hit his bumps especially. So, the Dodgers need, in my opinion, to still add something in free agency. Now, everyone's going to talk about Yamamoto. That's going to be the big one, right? When it comes to the Dodgers, they have been connected with not just Ohtani, but Yamamoto, right? That's been a report that's come out this offseason that they are looking to add both. Let's see. I know that sounds maybe unrealistic to us, right? We're thinking you just spent $700 million. Well, not all at once, but you are committing $700 million to Shohei Ohtani, and you're going to go out there and get Yamamoto too, who's looking at $300 million. That's $1 billion. $1 billion for Ohtani and Yamamoto. Who knows if it gets to $300 million? Could it end up maybe being $250, $275, add the posting fee in there as well, or the release fee, and maybe that gets up to $300 million. That's what I think is more likely. We'll see. But either way, you're looking at almost $1 billion for two guys on your team. That is insane. So I am holding back a little bit. I'm kind of one of those, I'll believe it when I see it. So right now, I'm a little low on the Dodgers when it comes to getting Yamamoto, but I'm not counting them out for Yamamoto as well, right? They just committed $700 million to Shohei Ohtani. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they landed Yamamoto, but I'll be a bit more conservative here and think, okay, maybe they think $700. After that, we're probably not going to spend another $300 million, but you never know. But you got some other guys out here. I would imagine at this point, if you're not going to get Yamamoto, I mean, I don't know. Like, at that, I guess when you think about it, right? If you're going to go add a starting pitcher in free agency, you might as well just go big or go home, or go big or go home at this point, right? What, you're just going to settle for Jordan Montgomery? You're just going to settle for Blake Snell? What does it even matter at this point? Go spend the $300 million or whatever it is. You might as well just do that at that point. Just go flex the muscles when it comes to the market. But I guess maybe they think, no, we don't spend $300 million. Let's maybe do like $125, for someone like Snell, Montgomery, maybe that $150 range. That, $700 million, a little too much. Let's maybe go after Montgomery or Snell. Maybe they could go even the lower tiers here, Seth Lugo. Maybe you could do Marcus Stroman. Honestly, I actually wonder if Marcus Stroman could be a possibility. I wonder, right? Marcus Stroman, I could see him maybe fitting in out there. I don't know. I could see it. I could see him in a Dodger jersey, right? He's been pretty durable in the past. I could see it. Look out for maybe Marcus Stroman. So, but after that, I feel like, could you maybe add someone like Clevinger? Flaherty's a California guy. Maybe someone like that, right? But is it Yamamoto or bust for the Dodgers? I don't know. But where I think the Dodgers, if I'm going to, be a betting man, and you all know me with my predictions. I'm not good with my predictions. But it would seem a bit more likely that maybe they go to the trade market, right? They got some prospects, right? They just spent the big bucks. Okay, well, let's say maybe they don't even want to spend, that much more money. Now they can go to the farm system, and they can go use some of those guys, right? They've been connected with Dylan Cease. Corbin Burns, right? We did have a report with Corbin Burns and the Brewers that the Brewers are maybe not very inclined to trade him, all right? We just got a report out from that today. Was that Bob Nightingale today? I could be wrong. Was that Bob Nightingale? I don't remember who said that. That might have been, I can't remember. Was that Heyman that said that. It might have been John Heyman that tweeted that out today. Let me go see if I can pull that up really quick. Corbin Burns, John Heyman, Corbin Burns. I think it was John Heyman. I know that popped up today. Let me see here. Corbin Burns, where are you at? We had some other signings too. Little Austin Hedges today. How about that? Little Austin Hedges. I like Austin Hedges. What do we got? Yeah, I don't know where that one was. But I know that was out there today. Can't remember exactly who said that. But Corbin Burns, reports are that maybe the Brewers are not so crazy about moving him, and they're willing to just keep him, and they're just going to compete next year. You know, honestly, we're kind of seeing the same thing with Dylan Cease right now in the White Sox. Chris Getz, reports are that he's kind of waiting for this starting pitching market to unravel a little bit more, which from a negotiation point of view, that could make some sense, right? You know, wait for the supply to dwindle a bit more. Let these other guys come off the board. It is a strong pitching market, right? So let's say they let Yamamoto come off the board, Montgomery's off the board, Snell's off the board, even these other guys like Lugo and Stroman come off the board. Then teams can turn to the trade market, right? So I think if Corbin Burns, Dylan Cease, they do end up getting traded, I think it's going to be a little later. I could see those as like January kind of trades. Who knows? Maybe even like early February. So we will see about that. I don't know. We got a super chat coming in. Sermon King, $2 super chat. Bob Nightingale tweeted about, was it Bob? Was it Mr. Listen, can we just say this about Bob Nightingale? Bob Nightingale, he is the hero that we don't deserve, but the hero that we need, right? He saved all of us on Friday night. He was the one that had some kind of a connection there when it came to the Blue Jays report. Like, that was unbelievable, man. Like, give Bob Nightingale all the credit, man. He even wrote an article today. I actually had that article just pulled up a second ago, but he had that article pulled up today, and he actually wrote about saying the media needs to be better about the whole Ohtani thing. You know, it was actually kind of a refreshing article, and to see it from Bob Nightingale, who's been kind of that guy in the past to really jump the gun and try to be first about things, it was kind of interesting to see that point of view coming from him. Here we go. Okay, so it was that Bob Nightingale article. I just had it pulled up a second ago, but I had something different. But here was that piece in the article. He actually wrote a lot of stuff here, pretty much just emptying his notebook into this article. So the Milwaukee Brewers are now expected to retain Cy Young winner Corbin Burns instead of trading him, still wanting to compete for the NL Central title. And I've speculated about that before, wondering, maybe they just hang on to him until the deadline. At the end of the day, the Brewers, they're always trying to compete. But the one thing with the Brewers, if they trade him now, right, if a team trades for him now, they will have the rights to offer him the qualifying offer. So that pretty much goes out. That would actually make Corbin Burns way more attractive next offseason, right? It's because if he didn't have a qualifying offer attached to him, oh boy, I think teams would actually teams out there that are like not really crazy about trading for him right now, but maybe look to him in the free agent market. They're hoping this guy gets traded at the deadline, right? So let's see. But Corbin Burns, Dylan Cease, these two could definitely be options for the Dodgers. Maybe someone like Tyler Glasnow, who's been in the reports. I think for the Dodgers, what would really go a long way is a guy that's going to be really durable for them. That seems to make a lot of sense to me, considering all the injuries that they've had, over the last couple of years. So I feel like Dylan Cease or Corbin Burns would be the best options for the Dodgers if they don't go the free agent route. Right now, spending a lot of money, it just seems crazy that they would even go out and spend more. But you just spent $700 million, or you committed $700 million. Does it even matter at this point? You might as well just keep going. I mean, good grief. Just go get Yamamoto. But what could be next for some of the teams that fell out of the running for Ohtani, right? The Blue Jays, hearts broken all over Canada. I was at Epcot today. We walked through the Canada part of it. It just seemed like people were sad all over the Canada part of Epcot today. It just, man, just a down feeling over there in Canada land at Epcot. So I can only imagine how actual Canadians are feeling this past weekend. Definitely a sucker punch to the gut. But what could this mean, for some of these other teams? Let's start here with the team that just had Shohei Ohtani for the last how many years now? For the last 6 years. Let's start with the Angels. What happens with the Angels? What happens with the Angels? Honestly, I've said this before. I think it's a blessing in disguise. But at the end of the day, though, is it really? Is it really when you still have Artie Moreno running the ship? I don't know, man. To me, I think Artie Moreno needs to go. I think he's one of the worst owners in baseball. What do I know, though? I'm just a dope that's sitting at my desk, so what the heck do I know? But what this does for the Angels now is this really clears out a lot of payroll, and all of a sudden, that number is looking really nice. 153 committed for next year, and they got a lot of wiggle room now, right? A lot of wiggle room. So, essentially, they could go out onto the market and possibly get something done. So, if we're looking here at the Angels when it comes to their lineup, listen, I still think this lineup is actually okay. If everyone stays healthy, if Rendon can actually do what he's supposed to do, I think this lineup could actually be fine. All right, yeah, it stinks without Ohtani, that you're not going to have him, but you still got some good bats here. Shanwell, this is a guy that's pretty advanced already. Look at the small sample size that he had last year. 132 plate appearance. He had a 402 on base. That's pretty good. I mean, the slugging definitely needs to come up, but he was getting on base a lot. So there's a lot of promise with Shanwell. He could end up being a hitter that's really solid sooner than you would think. But there is promise with this Angels lineup. Where they really need help is pitching. I mean, now you're losing Ohtani's arm, right? I know Ohtani's arm basically exploded at the end of the year, but I mean, Ohtani, not having him in the rotation every fifth day, it was always fun watching Ohtani hit, but I was always really hyped when he pitched, right? Shohei Ohtani pitching every fifth day, it felt like Pedro back in the day, right? Oh, Ohtani's pitching today. Got to watch that, right? So they need something, right? Could that be someone like Blake Snell? Honestly, I don't know Blake Snell, but when I kind of look at the guy, I'm speculating here, completely speculating. I just look at Blake Snell, and he, to me, he just screams West Coast guy, more of a laid-back kind of a guy, and I feel like he just ends up going to the team that gives him the most money. Man, when I'm putting West Coast team and team that just throws money at players, I mean, the Angels just sound like a logical fit. I feel like he would actually be a pretty decent guy to add to this rotation, to be completely honest with you. But after that, you'd have Reed Detmers, Griffin Canning, Sandoval, Anderson, Silseth. It's a little underwhelming. I feel like the Angels, if they're really going to spend money, they need to add, I think, a couple of guys. And that might be hard, right, to tempt some of these guys maybe to go there. I could see Snell. They have actually been connected to Snell. What a name in the chat. Sneaky Fat Cat. That's one of my favorite names I've ever seen. Snell looks like he just rolled out of bed when he pitches. Sounds like an LA Angel already, if you ask me. So I think they got to go try and get Blake Snell. Maybe go get yourself another bat. Now that you just lost your DH, maybe you could go look at someone like JD Martinez. Maybe you could go get someone like Jorge Soler, right? And those are going to be righty bats. Maybe Justin Turner could be an option, right? Anthony Rendon, I mean, if this guy keeps getting hurt, I don't know, Justin Turner can play a little third, right? But I think Justin Turner is going to be more of a DH at this point. But maybe Justin Turner could be an option, right? He's been over in LA before, right? With the Dodgers for so long. So maybe Turner could be a fit for them. However, getting back to the pitching, hear me out. Hear me out here. You're going to think I'm crazy. You're going to be thinking, this guy's taking crazy pills. Listen, you just lost one Japanese guy. Why not go after the other Japanese guy? Why not go after Yamamoto? I mean, come on. I mean, Angels fans, I feel like, would be like, you know what? You know, that's not bad. We lost Ohtani, but we got Yamamoto, right? Listen, I know you're thinking I'm crazy, but I wonder if perhaps they come in as a dark horse. Listen, don't doubt Artie Moreno when it comes to throwing money around. They somehow landed Ohtani 6 years ago. Don't doubt that maybe they could possibly, shockingly, maybe court Yamamoto there. I'm probably crazy. I know that. I have a potato for a brain, but I wouldn't count them out. This is speculation, of course. I'm just saying. Probably not. It's probably not going to happen, but could they be a dark horse? Maybe. Blake Snell, I think, would be much more realistic, to be completely honest with you. So, the Angels, I'm very intrigued with what the Angels do moving forward. Let's talk about the Blue Jays. Broken hearts all over the place. Instead of signing Shohei Ohtani, you signed for a broken heart. I'm sorry. I know how it feels. Trust me. When we lost John Lester, I was like sad for, I think, a good 2 weeks. It took me some time. When we lost John Lester. But the Blue Jays, you know, they got to be feeling something here, right? Obviously, Ohtani is a different level, right? That's a different stratosphere when you're looking for someone like Shohei Ohtani, right? But all of a sudden, they now have money to spend. You know they were willing to commit $500 million to Shohei Ohtani. Now, the other guys on the market, they are not Shohei Ohtani, right? They're not going to be committing $500 million to any of these other guys. But could they maybe go after someone else, right? If they're looking to add something for the DH spot, all right? Just the names I mentioned before. Could JD Martinez go there? Could you maybe sway Justin Turner to go there? Could Jorge Soler be a guy, right? Possible. Or, hear me out, listen to me, open your ears, why not Cody Bellinger? Cody Bellinger could be the guy. That's the next best bat. Could Cody Bellinger, if you're looking for a lefty bat, well, go for the next best guy that's up. Go for Cody Bellinger. That's a guy that can go out there in center field. You know, you can go back and forth between first base, center field. You know, I don't know how you do it. Who knows? Maybe you can just put Vlad at the DH spot. And then Cody Bellinger can play first. You can do some kind of a rotation. You know, why not? Could they go after Bellinger? You know, who knows? Maybe Soler could be a pretty nice piece for them. We'll see. But the one thing the Blue Jays need, they need a guy that's going to hit some tanks, right? If you look over here, the only guy that had over a 500 slugging last year was the guy that had a small sample size in Davis Schneider. That guy, Davis Babe Ruth Schneider last year, right? I mean, that guy was incredible last year, my goodness. But they need someone that's going to bring some beef to this lineup. Could Soler be that kind of a guy? Could they go for Yamamoto? I personally feel like they're not going to go after Yamamoto because they already have so much pitching as it is. I mean, I know the old saying is you can never have too much pitching. You do have Yusei Kikuchi there. Yusei Kikuchi, I still think he's waiting at the restaurant where he reserved 50 seats. I don't know what's going on with that. Who knows? I guess Ohtani never showed up. They're still waiting for Ohtani to show up at the restaurant. I don't know. What happens, I would imagine, Kikuchi's still going to be in this lineup, right? Or in this rotation, sorry. Could that somehow personally maybe sway Yamamoto to go there? Manoah, it doesn't seem like they have any plans of moving him according to reports. I don't know. The rotation feels a little full. So, but could they get it on Yami? Maybe. I could possibly see that. San Francisco Giants, right? It felt like the Giants when it came to Ohtani. Listen, I put this out on Twitter a while ago. The Giants, they just can't land the big fish. They just can't do it. They're not the Dodgers, right? I know the Giants. Giants fans, listen, I love you guys. I love you guys. I know you hate me during the power rankings. You absolutely hate me during power rankings. But for the Giants, it just feels like they just never land that big fish. But listen, I predicted Bellinger and Matt Chapman to the San Francisco Giants this offseason, right? They just can never land that big fish, right? But maybe they can land some above average sized fish. Cody Bellinger, Chapman, I think would be really nice pieces here for them. Let's see if they can do it. They've been in on Yamamoto as well. So honestly, when you look at the rotation, they really could use someone like Yamamoto. But the one thing that holds me back with San Francisco is historically, they never give out big contracts for pitchers. I think they'll be in the market, right? They'll make the phone call, maybe even have a meeting. But listen, I listened to Kevin Youkilis the other day. I talked about this on a prior stream, but I listened to Kevin Youkilis the other day, one of my favorite players of all time, on the Name Redacted podcast with Jared Carabas. And Kevin Youkilis said, listen, a lot of guys, it's going to be hard to get them to go to San Francisco because, unfortunately, the city has just been feels like degrading in the last 5 to 10 years, right? He was saying if you go walk 5 minutes down the road, from Oracle Park, it's a mess, right? So I don't know, could that turn off some of these big guys, personally? Who knows what it is? You got the higher taxes, of course, right? So, same thing with the Dodgers, but the difference of the Dodgers is that they're making the playoffs every single year. No offense, Giants fans, I love you. But the Dodgers, I think we can all agree that they definitely have one of the best farm systems in baseball year to year. They're making the playoffs every single year. Yeah, say what you will. They never win a World Series, but they are doing it. So I'm just saying. But for the Giants, I definitely think they have a chance to add some guys, right? They can overpay a little bit, in my opinion, to try and land a guy like Cody Bellinger, who's been in that division before. Matt Chapman knows Bob Melvin, obviously, from his day with the A's. He was in Oakland not too long ago. So that, to me, I feel like you could possibly land those guys, right? Let's see. So these teams definitely have some work to do, and the Cubs. Speaking of Cody Bellinger, the Cubs, right? Hey, they were in the Ohtani Sweepstakes. How much they were in, who knows? Who knows what that offer was like? We may never know what from all these teams, we may never know what the offer was like for Shohei Ohtani, right? The Dodgers, just seemed like they just went crazy. But for the Cubs, could they get Bellinger back? Could that be a guy that, who just had a good season for them on a bounce back year for them? Could you just bring him back? Could they add Matt Chapman, right? Listen, Cubs fans, I'm sorry. I don't care. I'm going to say it anyway. I think Dansby Swanson, Matt Chapman on the left side of the infield, that is absolutely dynamite. I would love that. Listen, I love the bats. I love the RBIs. I love the home runs. But I also love me some defense too. And run prevention, that's a thing. Chapman, Swanson, third and short. Oh, get out of here. You're not getting anything past those guys. I'm just saying. Could they add something for the DH spot? Maybe you can put Morel out, back out in center field. I don't know what you do with Talkman there, but could you do JD Martinez? Justin Turner has been linked with them. Jorge Soler, could you have a reunion maybe with him? So look out for the Cubs. As for, JD Martinez and Justin Turner, word on the street is that the Diamondbacks would love to add a bat, and JD Martinez, as well as Justin Turner, has come up in the rumor mill for them. So be on the lookout for that. So the Diamondbacks, they could get in on this market too that has really opened up, right? So I think that's all I have for the fallout of Shohei Ohtani, at least for the teams that were involved in these sweepstakes. So let's see what happens. But what I think this does automatically is this is just going to get the market moving. I think Yamamoto, that's going to hold up the pitching side of things a little bit. Maybe some of these lower tier guys can come off the board, like we saw Eduardo Rodriguez go to the Diamondbacks. So let's see what happens there. someone like Seth Lugo. He's been connected with my Red Sox, the Royals. I predicted Seth Lugo to the Royals. I actually really hope that happens because I need to start doing better with my predictions. I'm just saying. I got the Ohtani Dodgers one right. I know everyone else picked it, but I still got one right. Seth Lugo, just go to the Royals. Please, I need a prediction right. Maybe, you know what? Actually, I think I would like him for the Red Sox. Maybe that number 4 in the rotation. I would like that. Anyway, let's get to it here. But the market is definitely going to start moving here, I would think, right? We did see some relievers come off the board. We'll get to those in just a little bit. But let's go here. We got a little juice coming out here. A little juice coming out here when it comes to the Yamamoto market, right? So there is a meeting, supposedly, tomorrow with the Yankees and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. We have been saying this guy's name, it seems like every single day. But Jon Heyman tweeting out just a little earlier, what was it, like about 3 hours ago? The Yankees contingent is flying tomorrow to L.A. to meet with coveted free agent right-hander Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Every big market team is interested. Cost could hit $300 million. It's a long list, but the Mets, Dodgers are also seen as big players here. Jon Heyman goes on to say, this is not to say he's signing with one of these 3 teams for sure. Those are just the perceived favorites. Also linked, my Red Sox. God, man, there is no respect given to my Red Sox. Come on, man. Yamamoto, listen, I'm not even just hoping he goes to the Red Sox, not just for my sake and for all of Red Sox Nation's sake and for the future of the Red Sox sake. I hope so bad that Yamamoto goes to the Red Sox. So I have been keeping receipts, everyone. The receipts are real. I've been in the shadows bookmarking tweets. If he signs with the Red Sox, I got a long list of bookmarks ready. I'm just saying. I got the receipts. The Cardinals, the Cubs, Phillies, Giants, Angels, Tigers, and Diamondbacks, although things have gotten rich for the Tigers and the D-backs, according to Jon Heyman. I find the Tigers interesting just because they just signed Kenta Maeda. So I wonder if that's like the only connection. Was there actually any kind of a connection there? I don't know. I mean, who knows? Could that end up leading to the addition of maybe Roki Sasaki? Listen, if you're going to open up the market for the Japanese guys, I mean, come on. Let's go. Detroit Tigers, Roki Sasaki. I mean, come on. You know you'd love it. Anyway, moving on here, Andy Martino added to this. There are rumors or reports, or I don't know what anymore, that Matsui and Tanaka, if you don't know who those are, Hideki Matsui and Masahiro Tanaka, will attend the Yankees meeting with Yoshinobu Yamamoto in LA tomorrow. He goes on to say here, that is not accurate. They won't be there. But Hal Steinbrenner and company are in a solid position in this sweepstakes. So, got to think, going to that meeting tomorrow, I mean, good grief. Because I saw that out there, that the Yankees were really going to be putting on the full court press. So, Zach G, you said Jack Curry? Let me pull up Jack Curry here. Did Jack Curry counter Martino? Or did Martino counter Jack Curry? Well, actually, Jack Curry hasn't said anything in the last couple of days. Where did Jack Curry say this? Did he say this on... Oh, it was on Yes Network? Okay, never mind. All right. Well, there goes that. Who knows? Who knows who will be there? I mean, to be honest with you, if the Yankees are doing that, well then, hey, power to them. I mean, goodness gracious. Hideki Matsui, legend from Japan, Yankee legend. Tanaka, he was amazing for the Yankees. That would be amazing if they were able to get those guys there. You know, Andy Martino, though, is squashing those rumors. So, Hal Steinbrenner, Brian Cashman, Maybe Aaron Boone would be there. I would think Aaron Boone would be there. So we do have this meeting tomorrow. That is definitely going to be something that we are going to be looking for details about. Who knows how many details we get. I don't know. I hope we get a rumor out there. Listen, I am as unbiased as it comes, but listen, I need Yamamoto in that Red Sox rotation badly. I hope we get something like, man, that meeting went bad. God. I need it. Zach G, don't kill me. Anyway, but we're going to be looking out for this tomorrow. So, again, we're kind of seeing a lot of the same stuff here. We haven't really been seeing anything different. You keep seeing the Yankees. You keep seeing the Mets. You keep seeing the Dodgers. You keep seeing all the Red Sox are always a team. It's either the Red Sox are linked or the Red Sox are going to be heavily involved. That's pretty much the two sides of it with the Red Sox. I will say this. I was speculating it because I actually saw someone tweet this out. I can't remember who. Maybe, I actually think I might have it. Let me see if I can pull this up here. I am completely speculating here. Hold on a second. I don't know the Twitter handle right off the bat. Ben Nicholson-Smith, 22 minutes ago. Blue Jays offer to Shohei Ohtani was right there financially with the Dodgers' 10-year, $700 million deal. Well, if it was right there, then that guy wanted to be a Dodger. He really wanted them to be a Dodger. Anyway, I wanted to pull up something here. I'm trying to pull this up because it was really interesting. Let me see. I can't remember the name. I can't remember because I want to give that person credit. But basically, what it was that John Morosi, I know John Morosi has basically been like exiled from hot stove anything right now. I will say this. One person out there, he went back in time, he pulled up receipts, and he said when Craig Breslow was a player, John Morosi was like constantly putting out any news about Craig Breslow, like where he signed somewhere, where team was interested, whatever. John Morosi was always breaking Craig Breslow news. So people were speculating. Is John Morosi Craig Breslow's leak guy? That was interesting to me because I'm like, yeah, you know what? I mean, look at all the tweets that he made about Craig Breslow, just like at the time, just the reliever in the game, right? So I wonder if maybe John Morosi telling us, I know John Morosi just really fumbled the bag over the last week, but John Morosi has been saying the Red Sox are heavily involved with Yamamoto, and he's their number one target. If he has been, and we're just speculating, if he has been the lead guy for Craig Breslow all these years, and he's hearing the Red Sox number one target is Yamamoto, I'm just saying, I know we all feel a certain way about John Morosi, but could John Morosi find redemption announcing Yamamoto to the Red Sox? I know my giraffe neck Robbie is pouring out everywhere right now. Whatever. Hate me if you want. Anyway, let's get to some other news here. Speaking of very good Japanese players, we had a bit of a shocking bit of news yesterday. We had the Ohtani news, but this came out too. And I wonder if maybe Roki Sasaki got word of Shohei Ohtani's contract, because this was right around the time Ohtani announced that he was going to the Dodgers. Roki Sasaki asks to be posted for MLB teams. The Marines are likely to deny the request. This was really interesting, right? Roki Sasaki. If you don't know Roki Sasaki, I know Stark Raving Sports has an amazing video on Roki Sasaki. If you haven't seen that video yet, please go watch that. It's fantastic. But Roki Sasaki has been lights out in Japan. If you look at the career numbers here, just look at the career numbers. Hold on. I'm going to log in here. I'm a stat head, and I can't do all these ads. These ads are going to absolutely kill me. I did the stat head subscription. I did it because I can't do these ads anymore on Baseball Reference. And honestly, the stat heads, and I'm not even linked with Baseball Reference. I'm really not. I'm just saying I couldn't take the ads anymore. It just got to me. I couldn't do it. But they have a lot of good stuff there, right? So I'm just saying, I think I would recommend a stat head subscription to people. Not linked with them at all. I'm not affiliated. I'm just saying. So let's go here to Roki Sasaki's numbers over in Japan. Okay. So far, he has over 300 innings in Japan so far. And just pointing this out, he is only 21 years old. I'm guessing about to turn. He just turned 22. I take that back. He is 22 years old. In Japan, he has an ERA of 1.90. Almost 12 strikeouts per 9. Last year, he had 13 strikeouts per 9. Under 2 walks per 9. Look at the home runs per 9. 0.1 home run per 9. That is a nasty number, right? That's probably going to end up being around like a half a home run to like 1 home run per year in the major leagues, which is still really good. The dude was insane last year. Like, look at these numbers. He had 135 strikeouts over 91 innings pitched, a 1.78 ERA. I mean, good grief. This guy is nuts, man. So, yeah, Roki Sasaki, he absolutely wants to get to the major leagues. This guy's leaving money on the table, right? I mean, good grief. He just saw what Ohtani got. That's what I'm wondering. I wonder if Sasaki got word Ohtani gave him a little phone call. Hey, man, you're not going to believe what number I just got from the Dodgers. Yeah, $700 million. $700 million? What the heck? $700 million? Call my agent right now. I want to go to the major leagues. Get me to the major leagues right now. So I wonder if Sasaki maybe got word of that possibly, or he's just been seeing all the reports with Yamamoto and Ohtani, and that's probably just more likely. But I find it interesting because Roki Sasaki just asked to be posted, at least according to the reports. Who knows? Maybe he has asked sooner, maybe. But there's a couple of problems here. Teams have until December 15th to post players, right? So according to my calculations, it is 10:15 on the East Coast, and it's December 10th. So basically, you got about 4 more days to go get something done, right? So yeah, you're running out of time there. As to the rules when it comes to the posting, I made sure to write this down so I didn't get it wrong. Players must be at least 25 years old and have 6 seasons in Japan to receive more than a minor league contract, right? So go back to Ohtani, right? Isn't it crazy Ohtani just got a $700 million contract? Go back to 2018. Remember, he got the signing bonus that year because he wasn't eligible for a major league contract at that point because he came over early, right? So it was kind of one of those things where he had to just do the signing bonus. So that would be the same thing with Roki Sasaki. So who knows if the Marines actually do this? It's very early, right? He's still a ways away, still probably 3 years away. He's only 22 years old. You need to be 25. So I would imagine this guy's going to be, as soon as he turns 25, as soon as he's eligible to come on over, he will. So, but listen, man, when you're looking at the money that these guys are making, I mean, good grief. Like, this guy's looking at this right now, dude, I'm just leaving money on the table. I'm pitching in Japan. It's the guy is he's on another level in Japan. What else does he have to prove? Really, what else does he have to prove in Japan? Those numbers are stupid. I would rather come over to the major leagues. I would take $500,000 my first season as a signing bonus just so I can pitch in the major leagues. I'm just saying. Just so I can get into the system right? And then I can start making some big bucks. I mean, I would absolutely do that. I mean, if I were him, I'd absolutely want to be over in Major League Baseball. When it comes to Roki Sasaki, the teams that have been intensely scouting him are the Dodgers, the Padres, and the Giants. I'm guessing there's probably been some other teams as well. The Dodgers actually thought he was going to be available this offseason, so keep that in mind. Who knows? Maybe we could see a shocker over the next few days. Maybe they could figure something out. I don't know. We'll have to see, but it seems likely that he is not going to be coming to the major leagues, but you never know. We've seen crazier things. We did just see Shohei Ohtani get $700 million. I'm just saying. So let's move on here. We got a couple of smaller bits of news. Before I do get to those news, tonight's show is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy, right? Underdog Fantasy. If you're looking for daily fantasy sports, Underdog Fantasy is your number one stop for all of those daily fantasy needs. So if you use the link in the description, the promo code, that'll bring you to sign up, and the promo code is HIDE. That gives you a double on your first deposit. Not bad if you ask me. So let's go check out Underdog Fantasy right now. So we actually have the Cowboys and the Eagles on right now in the second quarter. So the good thing about Underdog is that you... One second, everyone. The good thing about Underdog Fantasy is that you can actually make in-game picks, right, during the game, right? So Jalen Hurts right now currently has 99 yards. So the Eagles, they're having a tough time trying to score some points right now, get some TDs. But if you feel like Jalen Hurts can get to 260 passing yards, you can actually go make that pick right now. All right, he currently has 28 rush yards. If you feel like he can get to the 47 rushing yards, you can go make that pick as well. So the in-game picks, it's a great option when it comes to Underdog Fantasy. I've always enjoyed that about them. We got basketball every single night, NFL. We just had a full slate today. We'll be back on with Monday Night Football tomorrow. Then we'll have the next week's slate. So you got hockey going on right now as well. You even got MMA. You can do drafts. I have liked the drafts before. I have absolutely won myself a few bucks when it comes to the drafts. I tend to do better in the drafts, but I enjoy the pick'ems more. So, I don't know. Pick'ems are easier, but drafts, I feel like I do better in them. So, go check out Underdog Fantasy. Again, the link is in the description down below, and they are the proud sponsor of tonight's show. So, again, we did have a couple of bits of news as well today that came across. And let me pull those up really quickly here. And we got a little something on the Mets. So we actually have a couple of stories on the Mets. And that is Pete Alonso and the Mets have not discussed an extension yet. Listen, I'm going to say this right now, everyone. I'm going to say this right now. I don't know, man. I just feel weird about this Pete Alonso Mets situation here. I don't know. I just feel like something would have been done by now, and nothing's been done. However, several general managers believe the Mets will listen to offers on trades. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised at all. He has been in the trade market going back to the deadline. His name came up at the deadline. We had other teams pop up. I believe the Cubs popped up. I think the Brewers popped up. So don't be surprised if Pete Alonso's on the move, man. I really do think he could go somewhere. And I'm actually going to be pulling up baseball trade values here in just a second. But tying in with this story, well, I guess it doesn't really tie in with it, but it's also Mets news. Francisco Alvarez is interested in getting a long-term extension. Neither side is under any pressure to get a deal done. But the catcher at least wants to start the dialogue. And this is what a lot of teams want to do now. They want to try and get these younger guys signed up to these extensions, right? These guys that have just come up from the minor leagues or still even in the minor leagues, right? Look at Corbin Carroll last year. Look at Jackson Chourio this year, who just got a big deal from the Brewers. So Francisco Alvarez right now, if he were to sign a 10-year deal right now, baseballtradevalues.com, again, subscriptions, 10% off. Link is in the description down below. 10% off. Get yourself a Christmas gift. But right now, Baseball Trade Values is projecting around $12 million on average per year. So again, right, you could have the salaries get bigger as the time goes on. But AAV, they're looking at around maybe $12 million. So I think that could be right around there. Like, could you see maybe 8, 9, 10 years, maybe around like 100 to like 120 million, 30 million, something like that. I could see something in that range. So I think this is a pretty good estimate of what his extension could end up being, but look out for that. As for the Pete Alonso trade, let's actually just pull this up really quick. And Pete Alonso, when it comes to him, he will have some value, right? So looking at Pete Alonso here, looking at Pete Alonso. Where is Pete Alonso? I'll go to the alphabetical order. Pete Alonso, you're looking at 11 million, right? So you're still going to get something for Pete Alonso, right? Even though he is coming up on free agency, he's still a good bat to have, right? If we pull up here some Pete Alonso numbers, right? I mean, just look at what he did last year. Yeah, batting average and the on base were pretty low, but he had over the 500 slugging, 46 home runs. I think any team would be okay with adding 40-plus home runs to their lineup, and he's only 29 years old. Again, one more year of free agency until free agency, but he has the 121 WRC+. You're going to get a lot of production with the power with Pete Alonso. So that's why I wonder if teams could be interested here, right? If I'm thinking of some teams, that maybe could use a bit of a boost, right? And again, we kind of talked about some of those teams that could use some bats. Could maybe the Cubs, right? The Cubs right now, you got Mervis slated at first base, but maybe you could put Morel back out in center field. The Cubs, they could fit him at the DH spot. Could the Blue Jays maybe work something out, right? They just missed out on Ohtani. Could you maybe do where you just have Alonso as the DH, Vlad, they can, bounce back and forth, whoever plays first. So, could that be an option? So definitely teams that could use that bat, right? Let's even throw out maybe the Angels, right? Maybe the Angels could get something done. All those teams that I mentioned before, I wonder if they could be options, right? Could a team like the Giants, right? A big power hitter like that in the middle of their order, I think could be a really nice fit. Could you maybe see some of these other like smaller market teams, right, really get into it if they're not going to go out there and try and spend on the power, right? So, could, we saw the Brewers pop up before. If I'm looking at the Brewers, right, I mean, could you imagine if the Brewers somehow added this? I mean, right now you got Tyrone Taylor slated as the DH, but Pete Alonso, I feel like, would fit really nicely here. And you have the connection with David Stearns and his old organization, so maybe they could get something done. I could maybe see something like that, to be completely honest with you. If we're maybe looking at possibly a team like the Guardians, they really need some power there, right? You got Josh Naylor, so, got Manzardo for first. I feel like didn't Josh Naylor come up in the rumor mill today? Didn't that happen? I could be wrong. Josh Naylor. Okay, so the Cubs actually showed interest in Josh Naylor during the winter meetings, and I guess the Pirates did too. Did they? Or let me actually go here. Hold on, let me go. Here we go. So yeah, I mean, if the Cubs are showing interest, then, why couldn't they maybe be an option? Let's take a look here. Yes, the Cubs, the Mariners, and the Pirates are interested in Josh Naylor. So could essentially maybe the Guardians just trade Naylor and maybe just go pivot and go bring in Pete Alonso? I don't know. Sounds a little complicated, but I'm just saying, if maybe they're trying to upgrade there. The Pirates, honestly, I think that, it's only 1 year, so I don't know if they'd really want to do that. But who knows? I actually really like the idea of the Brewers. It's 1 year. You got the connection with Stearns. I don't know. Maybe that could be pretty good. We had a couple more signings here today. And we had a little Andrew Chafin, a little Will Smith. And let me pull up these reports here. I'm always losing these reports, man. I got tabs open all over the place. Let's see. And funny enough, Michael Marino, I want to actually pull up here Michael Marino. If anyone is still wondering, I don't know what else people need to hear from Michael Marino, but he actually did tweet out not too long ago that the reliever market was getting really hot, right? So let's go take a look at this. Let me pull his tweet up. Where is it? Here we go. So yeah, Michael Marino, he tweeted out 10 hours ago, right? He was reiterating from yesterday, or the day before. He tweeted out, here we go. December 9th, Michael Marino tweeted out that the relief pitcher market is very active. Don't be surprised to see one or more relievers come off the board in the coming days. All right, so looked like he was right. Andrew Chafin going back to the Tigers. And honestly, you've all heard me say this before. I like the Tigers for next year, man. I think that was a good move on their end. Really like that move. Let me go to Passan here. I don't know what happened to the articles that I pulled up. I know Passan tweeted both of them. But Andrew Chafin. Did he tweet out Andrew Chafin today? All right, whatever. I can't find it. Here we go. So let's start with Will Smith. Will Smith going to the Kansas City Royals, 1 year, $5 million contract. This feels like a Kansas City Royals kind of a signing. Like, this is kind of what they have to do. But Will Smith has won a World Series the last 3 seasons. Are the Kansas City Royals on the brink of another World Series championship? Internet Hall of Fame says here, this is probably the literal worst team he could have gone to continue the streak. Oh, Will Smith. I'm guessing he was trying to go to some of the more competitive teams. They said, all right, now we're sorry, man. We can't. But the Royals, maybe you can give them some hope. As for the Detroit Tigers, so they brought in Andrew Chafin. And again, listen, I like Chafin, man. I like he's a veteran guy to add to the back end of your bullpen. It wasn't an amazing year for him last year when it came to the ERA. It was a 4.73. But if we take a look at some other numbers here with Andrew Chafin, the FIP was at a 4.01. That's a little better than league average, right? He did really well with Detroit back in 22. He was very good for them. He had 64 games, 2.83 ERA, 3.06 FIP, 10 strikeouts per 9. Funny enough, his strikeouts actually went up this past year, but his walks went way up. So, and it's actually his velocity went up a little bit. So I think he goes back to Detroit. They're like, hey, what have you been doing, man? What's going on? Let's get you back on track here. So I like the move. I think the Tigers, they're going to be a good team next year. I feel something about this Tigers team. I don't know what it is. I just feel like they're ready to bust out. They got a lot of these young guys here that are hungry. I think Torkelson's going to bust out for a good year. Riley Green's going to have a really good year. I like the addition of Kana there. It's a veteran bat, guy that gets on base. I don't think they're done. I think they do need to add some more pieces here. Could you add maybe another starter? Maybe. I don't know. But I think they're really going to go gun-ho with the young guys here. I do like the young guys. Casey Mize coming back. Skubal, that guy's just a dog. I'm just saying. This bullpen was really good last year. I really like this Tigers team for next year. I'm just saying. So, actually, I take that back about the bullpen. I think the bullpen was good in the second half. Let me actually go here. I actually want to correct myself. I think I might have got ahead of myself there. Where were the Tigers last year when it came to the bullpen? Yeah, I think I was definitely wrong. Okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought. They were 20th in Fangraph WAR last year. I feel like they were better in the second half. My memory is not serving me correctly as what I thought. Second half, They were a little better in the second half. Whatever. So Chafin, if they can get him going again, that's going to be a good addition, right? Get a little bit of a bump, right? I think a couple of years ago they had a pretty good bullpen. I must be thinking of that. But the starting pitching was really good in the second half last year for the Detroit Tigers. But everyone, I'm going to start getting out of here. I do want to make one more announcement before I do go. And everyone, I need you all to go do me a favor. I'm going to do you a couple of things here. I'm going to show you one thing before I get out of here. And if you are aware of Wardy, NYM, he talks Mets. I know at least one of you have to know Wardy, right? He's talking Mets all the time. But he put this out yesterday. And I just got to share it all with you. I did announce this on the show yesterday when we broke the Ohtani news. I announced it at the end. Wardy, what the heck did you do with it? I cannot see it. Oh, Wardy, you're killing me. What happened to it? Wardy, what did you do? Where is it? One second, everyone. Maybe it was this. Oh, I cannot find it now. Unbelievable. Well, I can't find it now. He put out something yesterday, and now I cannot find the tweet, and now I feel bad because I was just going to show you all of it. Anyway, let me check one more thing. Here it is, everyone. I found it. I'm so sorry. Here we go. All right, so Wardy yesterday, he put this out, and some of you might have seen it. But big announcement, right? Gen Sports, whatever you want to call it. It's a new show being brought to you by, that is our new sponsor here on the channel, BetUS, on their channel. So if you go to BetUS TV, go subscribe over there, BetUS TV. Myself and Wardy are going to be talking baseball over here. So they're going to be talking football. They're going to be talking basketball, right? But myself and Wardy, we're going to be in charge of the baseball content that comes over here. So if you can right now, go over to BetUS TV, go subscribe, because we are going to be talking baseball every single week over on this channel. That is our new sponsor. So go check it out, everyone. Go check it out. Before I do get out of here, I am going to get to some super chats just in case if I missed any. I feel like I might have missed a couple. We just had one pop up. Matthew Villarreal, $4.99. What picture do you see the Padres trading for? I don't know, man. I don't know if I see the Padres really going out there and making a trade. I could see them going after maybe like a lower tier free agent. I could see something like that. Could they maybe do someone like Marcus Stroman? You know, a guy that gets ground balls. They have a pretty good infield there, so I feel like Marcus Stroman could end up being a pretty decent piece there. I don't know. I just feel like when it comes to trades, I don't think they're really set up to go after a guy like Dylan Cease. Could you maybe do Glasnow? But that's $25 million. I don't see them adding that. Again, I could maybe see like a smaller AAV kind of a guy. Could you bring back Michael Wacha? I could see that maybe. Let's see how the market unfolds, and maybe he just goes back. I think Stroman could be a pretty nice piece, but they're projecting a $22 million AAV for him, so I don't know if that's really going to be in the Padres' interest. But you know, they just did clear out some payroll, so maybe they are looking at it that way, right? So maybe Stroman could be an option. I could see something like that. What do we got here? Matthew, thank you for the super chat. Sermon King, $2. Bob Nightingale tweeted about Burns. Oh, that's right. Sermon, thank you so much for that. Brandon Lee, $5 super chat. So it was true. Jays had the better offer until Saturday morning, and the playing things scared them enough to up the offer. Yeah, that's kind of what I was starting to think there. That the Blue Jays were just used for leverage, right? But this happens. This happens, man. It happens all the time. Maybe it works out. Maybe it doesn't, right? Maybe those teams, the team that the player wants to go to, maybe they don't make another phone call. I would imagine, right, would Ohtani want to take that risk, right? Was Ohtani actually maybe okay with going to the Blue Jays, and he was just waiting to see if the Dodgers would actually up their offer? Maybe he was ready. And then the Dodgers came in, last phone call, and they got it done. So let's see. What else we got here? Eric Moreno, $2 super chat. Think Wander gets cleared soon. I don't know, man. I can't even give you a comment on that. I got no clue. I don't know. I haven't even heard anything about any investigation stuff. My bet is that Wander, you're probably not going to see him until 2025. I wonder if maybe the Rays will want him to kind of step away for a little bit after everything that happened. I don't know, man. I just feel like he probably needs to step away for a little while, even if his name gets cleared or any. I just feel like it's a really sensitive matter. You know, we just saw Trevor Bauer. You know, say what you will about Bauer, whether you like Bauer, you don't like Bauer. He signed a massive deal and then went over to Japan, right? You know, so I wonder if the same thing could end up happening with Wander there. He gets suspended, for a good amount of time. We'll see, man. I do think there will be something that happens over the next few months. I would imagine something has to happen, right? Some kind of an update. I don't know. But everyone, I'm going to get out of here. I'm done. I'm thinking I got to go get some stuff done over here. I'm a little hungry. I'm going to go make something to eat. But everyone, we'll be back here tomorrow night. Again, don't forget, we just posted a video on the channel this past weekend. So go check that out if you haven't already. If anyone is new to the chat today, think about subscribing down below. We're talking baseball here all the time. Hit the like button for me, everyone. We killed our like goal tonight. We wrecked our like goal for tonight. If you can hit the like button on the way out, that would be amazing. Hit the bell, share the show. And everyone, I'm out of here. Thank you so much for stopping by tonight. Always appreciate you stopping on by. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you next time.